been quite a bit of time. I was supposed to go live a few days ago, but I've been stuck in this garage. I literally locked myself away. I think I have carpal tunnel on my arm. Like my arm hurts, like this muscle right there. Something's wrong with it from working too much. Probably have to take a break, but I'm so close to finishing this thing that I just got to finish it. So that's kind of how it's been. Gee, I wonder if I put this on public or if I left it unlisted because there's nobody here. Anyways, oh, Damien's here. It says nobody. Oh, somebody's here. So it means I did the live right. Sometimes I left it unlisted and then I would just be talking, waiting for somebody to show up, and then nobody showed up. So I had to figure out that it was wrong. What's going on, guys? 20 people in the live. Thank you guys for showing up. So pretty exciting. I mean, we've all seen this. We've all seen it so far. We've all seen the ridiculousness. But now you get to see why I actually did it. Because it's one thing to just build the whole boat, put a bunch of hatches into it, put a bunch of things in it. But really, without the electricity to match what you have in the boat, it's kind of like, it doesn't function nearer to what it could be, and it's really only functional during the day. And so rather than just be like a plain boat with a motor, you got to add all the nice, great things that make the hatches do well, that make the boat do well, and it's a mess. It takes almost as long to rig the boat as it does to build the boat, and that's like a true story. So we're over the course of what are we at, like 2 weeks now that we just been like binging away in this boat? About 2 weeks. Give or take a few times here and there where I kind of worked in it somewhat before I decided to make it my primary boat instead of my other one. So, I mean, there's a real serious question on what we're supposed to do with the V-hull, with the smoker craft, because now that we made this one pretty much what we were going to make the smoker craft, I don't know, the smoker craft's up for dibs. You guys can just, it's a 16-foot deep V aluminum hull. I don't know what you guys want to see, something different. I mean, that would be the boat to do it in. Like possibly a catfish boat. 24 people on the live. Can I get 24 likes? I really would appreciate it. That way we can get this live going. I wasn't able to tell my guys to come on here. I'm really not sure if they're going to show. Somebody should message them and tell them I'm going live. But heck, they probably have better things to do. So let me see. All right, guys. Let's just go ahead and get into the electric layout. So let's go talk about it real quick. Right. So let's start with the batteries. So these are all lithium. Now lithium can be as expensive or as cheap as you want it to be. It can be only slightly more expensive than your standard lead acid battery, or it can be mid-range, or it can be obscenely expensive. So yeah, the Epoch has joined our team. Damien, I'm not like sponsored, but we are partnered. Yes. So I'm pretty glad actually to have this battery. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm glad I have this battery pack. For one, that outboard weighs a lot, and it dramatically shifts the dynamics of the boat, even with all that nonsense up there, which is fairly heavy by itself. That outboard just like tips the scale. So I'm kind of glad I have a heavier battery, bigger, bulkier battery up front. It's still lighter than 300 amp hour batteries, because that would be the alternative. Run 3 of these, which would really jam up my whole area and not really allow me to run anything else. But because I got one big solid battery pack, I can just put it right there, and I can run other batteries around it, plus a charger, which that thing is all full and green there. And that thing's ready to go. And then I have this, it's a go-to battery. I forget what it's, the branding, like you can't see the branding, but it's got its, you see that? 100%. 100% charge, power. This one's actually Bluetooth. And you got the powerhouse. Everybody knows who powerhouse is. So that one I got a little 60 ampere. That one is actually that one specifically designated for all the Fishfinders and the black boxes, because those 3 graphs plus the 2 black boxes will eventually wear down the battery pretty good. But a 60 amp hour battery should last you all day, sometimes 2 days, depending on how much you use it between charges. I mean, that's the graph battery, trolling motor battery, 36 volts, and the house battery. And then we'll get inside the boat here, because it'll be the best way. So Epic actually gives battery monitors. That's what this extra cable is here for. Because battery monitors actually kind of went away the minute Lithium started taking over, because there's only one other company that actually made a good third-party source that will trace the in and out of a Lithium, because you can actually tell the voltage drop. There's no voltage drop until it's right at the very end and it dies. So it's really hard to tell you that. Before, it would just die, and then when lithiums got so low, below a certain voltage, it actually damaged the battery, and a lot of them wouldn't go back to 100% charge, and a lot of them actually couldn't be brought back. You'd have to jump them back, and then you would only get like 75% life out of them, 60%. That's where that whole 10-year warranty thing really hit a curb. So the first year it counted, but every year after that, only like the pristine battery companies that were worth anything had a real no questions asked warranty. But most of those 10-year warranties, sketch. The ones in here though, Bob has a no questions asked warranty, and the Evac has a really good warranty. But they also have fail safe, so the voltage drop, they can't drop below a certain level. That battery automatically shuts off in both of them. So you can't ever actually damage the battery cell. You might have to jump it. But here's the whole thing about that. I mean, who remembers to go on your phone? I mean, you got the phone app. Hey guys, 31 in the live. Can we get 31 likes? We've only got 12. Hook me up here, guys. Likes are free. And then we can start giving it. You can start giving things away at like 50 likes. We have things. So anyways, I don't know what I was talking about. I'm just glad I have these batteries, put it that way. But oh, that's right. Even when you have Bluetooth, it's nice, right? Because then you can look on your phone and then you can see, you can see through the app where your battery's at. But if you want to remember to do all that. But what I really do miss was an actual, like, battery meter. So this thing. That thing. Like, I'm so glad they have a proprietary battery meter. And you can watch it physically start filling up as you charge it. It's got really nice charge leads. They're just very professionally done. Like, probably the best charging leads out there. Like, for their stock chargers, I mean, they kind of really went out, like, almost like Fishfinder grade, like, plugs. So, I mean, just pretty good. Got power there, get your Bluetooth. Has Wi-Fi, too. You can put a Wi-Fi right there. Like, or this has another plug, something for, like, to actually read the computer in the BMS inside the system. And then that one's obviously the digital readout for this, which we just very easily wired in here. And so it's pretty cool. This is our layout here. 6 switches. Then we got 3 up there, which we'll talk about those 3. We get to actually see them all work now. Then we have the live wall timer from Flowrite. We got the premium kit, so we were able to get the actual timer. 2 cutoff switches. One controls the entire electric of the boat, which there is a lot. And then this one controls the graphs. You want them separate. For 1, because you want the graphs running off a separate battery. And then 2, because you want to be able to shut those graphs off whenever you're motoring out over a period of time. Like, because then you'll burn your black boxes out, or you'll just overstress your sonar from it not being in the water. It needs to be in the water to run correctly. They can't get damaged if they're left out for too long. And then, so this switch, and then this is the trim pin, the tilt trim. But I don't have it hooked up right now, but this is a tilt trim, and that, I'm sorry, this is the jack plate that works pretty well. The tilt trim's actually already stuck on the motor, so let's go ahead and switch this. There we go. And then here, this is what we did. This is pretty, I would say, the best way to do it. If you're going to do a mass wiring layout. Now, I know we had the panels where all these things were here, and then the wires are cleanly kind of ran through on a grommet, just coming right, kind of looked like a bug, right? And then, but underneath was all the mess, the panels, the wiring going this way and that way, and conduits, but the switch panels there. That was a really huge pain to have to, if you see how small this cockpit is, if you're above like 5'7", you're going to get cramped trying to get in here. So we always had the panel here to come off. Obviously, we made a step here. That's not even a chance to put the panel there. And then we had the switches up here too. I mean, in a compartment like that, that was a pretty big popular thing for a while. We did. I've since steered away from that because this is better. So we did this layout in the budget build. It's just a 1.5 in recessed, switch panel tray. And then we did the other one in the budget build with wood. This one we did it out of like aluminum tubing because we just just welded it. But I had like 2x2, yeah, 2x2 piece of wood, which is an inch and a half really in overall thickness. You know, you put that in there, paint it, put a wood panel on it, and then it really is very easy to cut out the wood and just drop a switch panel and drop these things in there, drill them out. It's much easier to do this, but because we were not going to do the wood, and this whole boat was supposed to be all aluminum or nothing, but it is very easy to do that layout. And then in here, this actually took like a very long time. Like I couldn't even tell you. I got the whole thing time lapsed, and even in time lapse, I ran out of batteries, and the time lapse runs forever because it doesn't actually take a whole lot of power because it's just recording and time lapse for it. It took forever to do this, a very long time. And but everything is seamlessly done. We have almost 30 circuits, but not quite. And Fishfinder wires. All the conduits ran very beautifully. I don't know what I would have done without these conduits. Having not ran those conduits early on, I would have really struggled. Now, I mean, because those are all there, it was very easy and seamless to wire it all. But I can actually service it. I mean, once you get so far in and you kind of wrap them up and you tie them up, it gets a little tedious to service them, but you can. The whole thing is you actually can. So this one is specifically for the fish finders. There is 4. Well, there's 1, 2, 3. No, this one actually runs off the house, and I'll explain why. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the puck running. So 6 whole units. This thing is maxed out in total units. Why the nylon and not the heat shrink? Because, like, it's an open lead, dude. Like, heat shrink I get for, like, a butt connector, right? But it's already open at the front. And plus those nylons are still tin copper marine grade. Those are still Anchor Marine, like, nylon connectors. They're actually what I got. They're a million times faster to run. But we do send with heat shrink because in the kits we do send heat shrink because heat shrink actually still is the best. Theoretically, water could get in these openings, and though it's not going to do a whole lot, it could sit there for periods of time and damage the wire, but it's really hard to corrode tin copper unless you're in salt. I think heat shrink, if I was in salt, I definitely would have heat shrinked all these. I'm in fresh. I'm not going to, this boat will never touch the salt. So, like, not a big concern for me. It was a matter of speed, because however long this took, sitting there and heat shrinking all those wires inside the box without accidentally heating up or melting something, forget how much time it takes. I don't know. I've been running nylon connect. I actually went and bought these outside of the kit. So, like, you know, this is a whole electric kit of ours, but I still have all the heat shrink butt connectors, and I still may use them. I mean, they're there, but the nylon connectors, and it's very, very hard. You can crimp down these as hard as you want, and it's really, really hard to bust that nylon. To bust it open, but it's really easy to bust the heat shrink open. So, I mean, you can see it's open there. So I just don't. I mean, that's why I did it, and that's why I will continue to do it with nylon connectors. Let me see what else you guys got going on. What's the best electric tutorial you have? I have a 1-hour tutorial. It's literally like 57 minutes or something. It's really long, where I go over everything that you would possibly need to know. Truly, with a 7th grade education, or possibly even now a 6th, however the standard is, but I mean, you just have to know with electric, there's a power underground. You can electrocute yourself, but that's how it works. And that's really all you need to know to wire a boat. The bigger thing is, can you remember your layout? Can you remember what wires go to where, and how to tie all this in? Which wires, remember in your brain, or have it on a piece of paper. Really, what saves you with that is just labeling. Some people write it on the sleeve, like in Sharpie, which I think is not the greatest way, but some people do. And then some people will tag them with tape, which is slightly better, but still not that great. A label maker, these things stand the test of time. I can always troubleshoot anything there. So I always know where the wire is going. Like, it's like, think about nerves to a brain, right? Nerves to a brain. Nerves throughout the whole body. All of it leads to the brain. It's nerves. I mean, so there's wires throughout the whole boat. All of it leads to, well, right here. And so, yeah, like, well, diagnosing this is a breeze. Because, like, everything is, there's no tons of wires everywhere. There's actually a lot of wiring, but that's the cleanest I've ever ran it. I was able to hide pretty much everything, with the exception of, like, some of the finer wires. Like, I chose to coil. Obviously, you got to coil the actual transducer wire. You cannot cut that. And then there's a few wires that, just because I didn't know how far it was going to go, like the power pole wires, the micro anchors. These are here, micro anchors, and the RGB slightly coiled, because I didn't want to cut that flashlight controller. I could have cut this down way more and got rid of this whole bundle cluster, but I don't really. Maybe I will later. I don't think it affects anything, but I could have cut that way down and had maybe a much cleaner run. That's the only thing I might have been able to do differently. But other than that, everything that's coiled is coiled because it has to be, because it can't be cut, because there's really fine wires inside a harness, and you can't cut the harness. Then we made some of our own harnesses, and then that's just braided expandable sleeving, trying to group sets of wires I spliced together to run into a switch. You can see that. Let me see. Oh no, here, let me. That's just braided expandable sleeving that I spliced sets of wires that are supposed to go into one switch. And I use, obviously, the yellow or 12 and 10 gauge, which are way bigger than the 14 or 16 that's actually in here, but because it's bigger, you can actually group more wires inside it. So we shoved it in there. And then there's two on-off switches. The top one has 2 fuse blocks going to it. These 2 fuse blocks are actually powering the whole boat. There was a lot of them. It has a lot of switches. Dang. And then that one's just powering, again, the finders and the graphs. And then this one is specifically just a house graph. This is a Helix 7. And I needed this one separate from all these because it does a separate thing from all these. This one is actually going to have to run possibly when I'm open. It's really an open navigation. Where do I source braided spandable sleeving? Amazon all day. Search braided spandable sleeving. Search split sleeve. Braided split sleeve. That stuff is even better. It's like some of this is split sleeve right here. That's a split sleeve right on it. And so is all that. We'll get to the back too. We wired the back real pimp also. You got to check it out. You got to check out that too. That's our build setup, which we're gonna have to move because we stuck the stupid micro anchor right there. We're gonna get back to that whole. I made some DIY micro anchor mounts that bolt directly between the jack plate and the motor. So I'm gonna show you that. That is coming up. But yeah, you should give us a like for that, guys. 35 people in here. All right, so enough talking. Now that you've kind of seen it, what we've done. Wires running this way. Conduits everywhere. You saw if you were in the other lives, you saw the massive amounts of conduits that flow through here, both nylon, PVC, and flex hose, all of them integrated to run seamlessly throughout all compartments. I mean, you can see one big giant opening. That's a opening PVC. The one down there, the main one, running all the wiring to everything. That one's running the trolling motor. There's another one way down there that's running that one right there is running all the other wiring to either this one or this one. And that other tall one was running the trolling motor wiring on a 60 amp breaker that we mounted directly to the wall. And then this is all done with flashlights. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna kind of turn the lights off so you can kind of see the brilliance. Well, only one light. All right, so we turn these off. And then here we go. I mean, I don't know how this is gonna look on the camera. I hope it doesn't look terrible, but let me know how it looks, guys. So here are these. And that's just a whole LED spread around. Because if you have like one little LED courtesy light in there, it's not going to be able to engulf a bunch of batteries in its way. What you really see, that's like a complete all 4 corners LED that just floods all the way in here. Because again, there's things in the wall, there's day boxes, there's going to be other nonsense. And so for you to get a complete total reflection, these are all flashlights. These are just cool white strips. And then these are the actual RGB lights that took freaking forever to do. But they are nice. They're really nice. We have one 360, almost 360 wrapping. Actually, it is. It's wrapping completely around in the inner cockpit to catch everything. So this would have maybe looked slightly better. Some of these colors would have really popped in the regular TBN camo with that lighter. Like the RGB really likes to grab, especially that violet light likes to grab that light camo, especially in snow cam. If you had snow cam in this boat, the camo would literally change the color of any color you have on the RGB to make your boat deck any color you want. But then you got to deal with it getting dirty. So if you're willing to deal with that, snow cam is actually really cool to run with RGB lights. It's very cool. Then down here we have, let me see, 1, 2. So this light, can't leave it on for very long, but that is a Epic transom light, and that is an RGB also. See, it's changing there. And that's a pretty brilliant transom light. It's extremely brilliant, but it's so intense you can't really leave it out outside of the water. You'll burn it out. By the way, flashlights they're really expensive, but they have a no questions asked warranty. So and they're the best in the market. They're also that really thick stuff. So they're really the only one that you're going to be able to submerge safely without any long-term problems. And so we're going to end up running these in the bunk boards later. I just haven't got there because I got kind of stuck on an anchor design, which I'll show you. I got a primary design that I'm going to take these off now that they're both paired pretty much the same. And then, yeah, they're individual strips per hatch. And then, so the strips go pretty far in here. We got that one. That one lights up brilliantly. It just lights up brilliantly. Like, you can do this with regular LEDs. In fact, it's actually really hard to tell. Well, these do look better. Like, if you compare these right directly to some normal LEDs, these do look better, but not so much better that you can tell a huge difference. It's the time over time when you're like running those lights in and out. The more they heat, the more the plastic, the coating on top of the lights changes color. It changes amber, goes yellow, then it goes brown. Then you actually have change in color of the lights, like what your lights actually look like. And then eventually they just burn out. And then when you burn them out, it's such a mess because you siliconed them in. That's the only way to really get them in, because that 3M backing, let's be honest, is garbage. So it doesn't work. So like these, I silicone them in, but the chances of these lights ever going out are extremely slim because of how well made they are. And I know my face is all being blown out right now because of the light, but you're really supposed to be looking at this. Hold on. I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, we got that one. So we got a live wall light in there, just one. It's not very bright, but I will tell you something that annoyed me at night is when I did put fish in the well, it was really hard to see them. So I'm kind of glad there was just at least anything in there to kind of offset that. And check this out, in the flashlight controller, it actually is RGB too. So it changes when it's on. That actually lights up the whole area there. You can't tell, but you need a flashlight controller, and it's good for up to 50 feet of strips. And then after 50 feet, you need an amp, or close to, or over 50 feet, you would need an amp. But you can kind of see it here, not really well, but you can kind of see the snow cam kind of soaking in those colors and changing. If I actually RGB'd this would have really looked really cool. I didn't think about it until too late. I kind of wanted all my hatches a solid color. I thought RGB was a little too much because it is a lot. You have to rig 4 wires instead of 2, and it just starts to get a little tedious. I did get some extension cable this time. I have pretty much all these are locking except for the live well and that one, because those are my least critical hatches, but everything else is locking. And I might actually just make them all locking, but truly they're all the same key. So somebody who knows what they're doing is just going to immediately break into this thing. So it's just better to keep your boat parked somewhere where you can keep an eye on it. So no pro people come in and get it. So like, because there's pros, they'll come out there and they'll take your stuff. So then, I know this iPhone here isn't going to capture the true brilliance of the lights, but it gets close. It gets close. 8 small LED strips. What size fuse should I use? 5 amp. I wouldn't go run 16 gauge or 14 gauge in a long run. You can run 5 amp fuses. I'm a fan. Run the lowest fuse you can, because if you can run a lower grade fuse and it still runs everything, then the fuse will blow away before you ever hit a critical load that could actually damage the accessory it's attached to. So the fuse blows before you even can reach that level. A lot of people will just max the fuse. You can get the max fuse right when it spikes critical load, which could still actually damage the product. But I'm like, why even let it get there? You could just run a lower fuse. you still get normal function and use out of most of this. So I only run 5 amp, and for like the Fishfinder, some of them I run like a 3 or 2 amp. I run a 10 amp for these. For some odd reason, I could not run all the individual LED strips inside the compartments on a 5. I blew 2 fuses, and I was like, okay, that's it. So sometimes you got to go up to a 10, but I think a 16 gauge, and specifically 14 gauge, will run all the way up to a 15. So you just got to like, or maybe a 20, but pretty high. 14 gauge rated pretty high. I forget the max amount of amps. So you're really, I don't like running over a 10 amp fuse for anything I don't have to. So I had to run it for these lights. Ironically, these are monstrous strips, and I can run all these off a 5 amp fuse. It's probably because it has that controller and it's just better managed. It's like a standalone management for that controller. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so we have, I thought it came out pretty clear, pretty cool. Like the snow cam just kind of grabs the light. That's another thing. See how dark it is in these compartments because of the darker turf? So if this was like this, you would really see, oh God, Chris is here. Oh no. Oh, all right. Well, at least the live will get interesting here. But you see how the darker colors just kind of soak in the light. So I like that when it's on the deck, because though it doesn't look brilliant for pictures or anything, it does save your eyes a little bit, because when you turn on those RGB lights or even your stock lights, it is a little much. But in the hatches, I really like to see in the hatches. Like it seems like you put dark turf in the hatches, it don't matter what strip. You can run a whole strip all the way around this thing, and it looks dull. It's not terrible, but I mean, I really like the hatches lit up the way it is. I know the camera is not going to be able to grab the true brilliance of the lights. It's getting close. I mean, I'm looking at the product and I'm looking at the phone. It's close. It's close, but it's not like, it's still pretty good. I'm just saying they look really, the strips look great. I don't know if you can see the strips there. Yeah, they're hit underneath the lip. That's the one good thing about the lips. The hatches being smaller than the actual hatch opening is you can hide those LEDs right underneath the lips, and they deflect it. Same thing here. Remember we ran an extra thick extension here. We're wanting to cut the turf clean on door edge guard, but mainly you can't see the strip at all. Where's the strip? You can't see it. It's nowhere. That's how you want it. You don't want the strip glaring and blowing up in your eyes. And truth be told, these aren't that bright, but at night they get real annoying. So you still don't want them. Oh yeah, there's I had a drill bit shift off as I was putting these T-tracks in here. And so that one spot, it didn't break completely, but the drill bit went right in there. These lights are pretty tough, because that was another LED, the standard LED. I would have tore right through that, tore it in half. I would have cried, because once you silicone those in, it's the biggest mess to pull that out. It's super hard to get silicone out once it cures. So I just had to take an L for that, but that's why I put that Fishfinder right there. I put an actual I put a thicker plate right there where I was going to mount that ram mount, and it just happened to be right there. So normally that thing is flipped up in that way, so nobody can actually see that fail. But it was me, I did that. So, but I can live with that. I can live with that. Check out these guys. I had this thing. I've been wanting to run it forever. I didn't really know where to put it, but since I have these sweet gunnels that are like at a 90-degree angle, I was able to run it. These are just our bait hangers, our bait and tool hangers. Baits here, tools here, slots for 8 tools. That's a lot. I don't know if I would use 2 or 3 maybe max, but 8. So anything you want, essentially. Then we stuck all kinds of Railblazer accessories here. We got cheap T-track from Amazon, 48-inch. And these go right in it. And then they have their own T-tracks, which are way better and more robust, but they were too thick for the gunnel, and they weren't black, so they didn't really match the whole scheme. But we have Railblazer components everywhere. Oddly, they sent me a bunch of these components, but they didn't send me any rod holders, so I had to order some rod holders, which is cool, because sometimes you want to go catfishing. Sometimes, not all the time. Catfishing is a very rare occasion, but sometimes I want to do it, or sometimes you're in a specific situation where you have to just have your rod posted over. And mainly, I can put a GoPro mount anywhere I want, because Railblazer also makes a GoPro mount. It doesn't have a cord running through it like a Yolotech, but it is one big solid piece that locks right into these. It locks right into these. You just got to unlock it, put it in, lock it, and that thing, if I tighten it, tighten it there. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. You can fling around. My Yolotech is almost flown out of the actual hole because it gets unstuck. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll just be calling a USB cord, plugging it in. And that's another thing why I did this, guys. See this. Here, let me go turn on the actual lights so you guys can see this in real time. Because the lights are kind of funkingly blowing it out. Hey, check that out. Not too bad, huh? Give a like for the boat. If you guys are in here and you haven't hit the like button, hit the like for the boat. You don't hit a like for me, but kind of the boat deserves a like. Come on. All right. Here, I wanted to show you these right here. So we did these back panels. Originally, I was just going to do them like I usually do them, where I just make the top cap, and then you can stuff your rods underneath the top cap. But then I was thinking how I didn't like that and how I kind of always wished to have had USB ports back here. So we added some, the 3.0, which will charge any new standard phone pretty fast. Then we stuck even more Railblazer components back here, which is cool because then we have something like that little cup holder right there. Or we can reach back in here. This thing, see that? Phone holder. So I got a phone holder here too. Let's stick that thing in here. Unlock it. Put it in. And that's actually pretty nice. It's got these little cleats that flip down. Just hold your phone there, and then this just kind of opens up, expands, and your phone can fit right in there. And so for the co-angler, I kind of wanted the co-angler to be hooked up. If I really wanted to cook the co-angler up, I should have put one more shallow day box right there. I didn't do it. I chickened out. But between all these things and this, which this comes off at will too. This is just here kind of because I was using it for an accessory holder, but really the cup holder, between this cup holder or anything over there and plus that tool accessory, we should be able to give it. Oh yeah, the grab handle. Check out what you could do with HydroTurf, guys. See that? That's all HydroTurf. I was gonna like wrap it with like handlebar grips. Nah, this is way better. It actually looks like it's forming out that way because the camo looks like it formed it that way. Like you can bend it. So I mean, you really kind of can. It seams together so well that you can't really tell that that's a bunch of pieces. You just bent it that way. And it's very comfortable. And it's going to be also the most easy to grab in the super hot heat where aluminum just loves to get hot, and you know, touching that, it might be a risk. This thing, it could be quite hot outside and you can grab this thing just fine. You'll be all right. So you'll be okay. All right. And then these T-tracks, they did kind of bend with the gunnel as we fastened them one by one. I'm gonna get one more 2-footer and stick it right here. I want to be able to like put these mounts anywhere. That way I can have a GoPro mount anywhere. I can have it looking at me as I'm motoring out. I can have it looking at me wherever. I have a little shorter one where I could just have it bent over, catching fish on a 360 camera. A little packer here. There it is. The rest of the them are in there, along with all my safety accessories. So it's like, it's all right. It's all good. But another thing here is, what happened here? Did that fuse blow? Oh, I didn't plug it in. Here. Oh yeah. So this is a micro anchor. So I got this idea from Send It himself, who made a very similar version of this on a light skiff. And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. I could just make motor mounts for a light skiff. I mean, for this boat, the way you did it for a light skiff. Only this one, we have a plate that just fits flush right into the transom plate, but then we're going to end up reinforcing it with bar. I can only do so much while it's here on the boat without screwing up the motor or the jack plate, or accidentally welding it to the jack plate. That would be miserable, huh? That would be terrible. But I can right away put tubing here and essentially have a pretty strong, right now with this square tubing, it's actually pretty strong. It's all 1/4 inch 6061 flat bar and some other aluminum plating. It's just a super basic layout. We're going to end up porting it and sanding it and adding some cosmetic holes and ports here to make it look edgy, kind of like we did our other things. Right now, it's just a real basic layout. We'll figure out what we're going to do. And when I pull these off, I'll be able to do it better. Welding that was kind of tedious. Got all those welds in without burning the transom up or burning the motor up. And that was my bigger thing. I was like, are we gonna catch the motor on fire? You see those reels where the motor catches on fire? I just didn't want to be that guy. I really didn't. But here, there's a plug. Now you can get a battery pack for these, or you can get a plug. So I mean, there's a few things going for these. They really are. I mean, I've fought these to death. Mainly, nothing against the motor itself. That's always a good thing, right? The motor, but it's like the stick. Okay, it's a 3/4 inch, like fiberglass stick or spud pole, whatever you want to call it. And those things twist and turn, and you know, no matter how good the motor is, a spud stick is a spud stick. So I always trying to get away from these because the crab leg design on the micro anchors and Royce shallow water anchors, and even some of the ones that I have done in the past, those grip better and hold better because it's like one solid spike down once it extends fully, like a crab claw or whatever, just like a spider leg, like it just goes down in there. It grips better than a spud pole. That's just fact. It's truth. But whatever, it's too late. Like they're such a pain in the you know what to make. And I was just like, I could make some really cool ones, but then they'd have to be kind of permanently mounted to the boat, and I have to make them flip over, and it's way easier. Look at this. I mean, you just kind of there's only so many times a year where I actually even need to use these, and the rest of the time I'm really, really heavily dependent on the anchor mode out in water. Like right now when the spawn's coming, it's probably be the most time I'll ever use these. But you can just flip these over like that. It's pretty good. I don't know. It's pretty good, right? Then once you extend it, you can just flip that back over and they're locked in. Then you can get a battery pack, which is a lot of people in kayaks don't want, or anybody who doesn't want to run a full wire like we did here. But of course we ran tons of wires, so why not more? So we put this, let me see this hole. Yeah, like this. You can see it actively working there. And there it goes. There it is. There it is. And that'll just keep on going until you have no more pole. So this is obviously a short cutoff pole that I used for an experiment. This is not going to be the one we're actually using. We're going to be using those that do not actually come with an anchor. So it really isn't like $500. It's more like $7 once you get the pole. Still not terrible considering it is pretty nice. But whatever, like, I don't know, like, I just figured I needed something I could take off pretty quickly, something that wasn't really very tedious, because I can take these off and put them on multiple boats. I can just get extra mounts, which is probably what I'll do. I'll just probably use the same 2 anchors for different boats whenever I'm using the different boats. And I don't know, when I go over to the shallower, smaller lakes, those are actually extremely useful. I mean, I can see where these could be tremendously useful given their size and smallness. And then another big thing is like the spikes, the crab claw style anchors. They really are nice. They are the stiffest, but they are always in the way. They truly are. Unless you're up in the bow, they're completely out of the way. But you got a co-angler, he hates life, or she hates life. Whoever's the co-angler hates life because those things are in the way, and I can say that officially. So with these spikes, you can just take them out and lay them on the deck, just like you could lay a fishing pole, and they're just pretty much out of the way. Just lay one down each side of the boat. Each side of the boat, and it ain't no thing. Ain't no thing, just it'll just lie right there. And so, as far as portability and maneuverability, maybe not overall total, function, they don't work better, but in terms of everything else, it's a W. So I'll take an L on the backside, because again, I'm generally tracking fish down in deeper water anyways. And I don't know. They're there if you need them. What do you guys think? Let me see. A PT 185, 18.5 boat is a pretty big boat. I'm gonna have 2 of them. So I have well, there's the rest of it, and then I just formed the other one. I gotta clean it up, but I just got it welded in spots just so I can get it going. I could take it off and then actually do some better stuff behind it. I plan on really re-strengthening it. Right now with this bar, it's pretty strong, but I'm going to end up adding some more crossbars, possibly some more at the back, and really reinforcing this thing so it's very, very strong, even though it's only hanging onto a 1/4 inch plate between transom and the motor, but it'll be pretty strong. I'm gonna have to get some extra hardware though, because that's not biting all the way on the nylock. I've taken those nylocks on and off a lot. They do wear out, so I'll get some brand new ones once it's all completely done. I'll tell you what, you gotta be real careful doing this. I'm using a floor jack, like a 2-ton car jack, to raise it up on the skeg very gently, just enough so I can get tension off the bolts. And it has not been the greatest experience. We pulled it off, but yeah, I'm just glad this is almost over. I'm super glad it's almost over. I don't know. All right, let me see. What do you guys got? Thumb up for the micros. Well, at least we got to put our own little personal spin. It wasn't a complete sellout to the electric micro anchors. We got to make our own little thing that made them unique. And so we're going to have to make our own mounts, honestly, anyways, for the boats. And the ones that are out there floating around the market, they're really not that impressive. The few of them that are actually out there, and they're expensive. So, I mean, we just made this flat bar right here. That's all we made it out of. It's flat bar. So, you got a 12-foot deep V. What's the capacity on a 12-foot deep V? You got it's like an Arkansas Traveler or something. 12-foot deep Vs are king. Like if you can deal with the roll variants, like those things cut right through the water. We built a 11.5-foot Arkansas Traveler as the first Yak Killer style boat we ever did a long time ago, way before we could ever do anything like this. We did other stuff, and we built that boat up first. That thing was awesome. It would fly. You put a 15 on it, it flew. He almost sunk that thing a lot, but man, he flew. He flew. So it was, and then obviously the fishing experience on it was something else to be admired. But oh, what a lot of stuff here. Anyways, let me switch the other one on. So yeah, again with the Epic batteries, pretty nice setup. It's got like a bunch of different features, maybe the most features out of all these batteries it probably has. Plus it has that external battery monitor. And then I'm so glad I can just look really quickly and glance at how much it's up or down. And I had a 12 volt too, and I really wanted to run it, but there was no way I was gonna be able to run it and then still run a charger and then another battery for graphs. It just wasn't gonna happen. I was gonna have to put that thing somewhere else, and I just didn't want to do it. Like I have one dedicated compartment for batteries. That's actually a fairly big compartment, so the fact that the battery, I think they have smaller batteries. I should have just looked a little bit more into it and got a mini. So I don't know what it would have done as much as the 100 amp hour one. It's up there. We're definitely going to put it in another boat or see what they want to do with it. Then I have Powerhouse 16 volt up there too. That's what I really wanted to run on all my graphs and stuff. But truth be told, I can't really tell the difference in performance between it and this and the 12 volt lithium. You can just really tell the difference between lithium and an AGM or a lead acid. You can tell the difference in performance. So just a 12 volt lithium in and of itself will run those graphs really clean. People claim 16, 18 volts run it better. I can't tell. But I do know that would just be one more charger I'd have to add in, and I really wanted to utilize as many banks out of that 4-bank Real Pro RS3 charger, which is a smart charger. It just figures out what battery you have, and it already knows what to do. Not like the Nocos where you have to make sure you have the right algorithm on the right bank, or you mess your batteries up, not knowing if it's on the right order. So you got to be real careful with those. But that thing it's a set it and forget it charger. It works extremely well. I mean, the next things we have going on here is just all the fine rigging. We're still doing fine rigging type things. It's quite annoying. You know, but it is what it is. Like, what are you supposed to do about it? Like, it'll be, I figured out that other day box will just be because, like, for, like, fishing line, because I'm always forever, there's no good place to ever put fishing line. And I just thought about it, because you always need to have a fishing line. I'm just going to have that tucked in there, and it's just going to hold different types of fishing line all up in there, and possibly the other ones. And I got like more up here. I got Berkeley big game, 20 pound, 30 pound for big swim baits. I'm just going to throw it all in there. I'll finally have a place to put it all. And then we're going to end up making some organizing thing in here. That was one thing I was supposed to mess around with today, but I kind of got really caught up with these anchors, and then obviously releasing the video for that Sun Dolphin American. So I didn't get to it, But it's stuff like that, and maybe adding a few extra Porsches for security. Even though we got the one nice port back there to drain all the water, I still kind of want more. Just figuring out whether or not I should even do that now that we've gone this far. But definitely we're at the very end of this. We even got the registration finally on, and most of the decals on, not all of them, but we'll have to move this thing over, darn it. I knew it. I had a hunch about that. We'll have to move this thing over here. It'll still kind of hit the bar, but at least it won't be like splashing on this and splashing back into the boat. So there's the quad bilge setup, or the triple bilge setup, sorry. The triple ejection setup. So 2 bilges, and there's the aerator. There's the, hold on. There's the live well pump. There's the valve. There's all the quick locks. I remember all this was off. This was all fitted way before, but I just took it off with these quick locks. You can take all these hoses off in 2 minutes. 1 minute, 2 minutes, they're gone. You can go store them somewhere. And they're kind of heat shrink this way. Like, I mean, they're heat set this way. They have a PVC lining, so once you heat them up and then you let them cool down, they stay that way. And so when you go back to fit them back in, they're not binding or putting pressure on top of that, or they will never like fold over and kink. Unless you make them too hot, then they will, but you just don't make them too hot. That's all. Got 1100 manual from the actual kit, 1100 auto, the order from Amazon. So it's 2200 GPH. One of those is strong enough, so strong that even if you left your boat plug out, it would clear the water faster than your boat could fill up through the boat plug. So 2 of them, you can really get yourself out of some crap. But even if you couldn't, remember the boat has X amount of foam in it. This boat that's a big deal. It's the bigger pinnacle about this thing, because we see all this, right? There's any amount of people out there who think they're pros just because they can put turf on a boat and put lights and finish the boat up. And, you know, credit to you guys. Credit to any professional fabricators who do that. But there's a lot of them out there who take all the foam out and just put compartments. And I debate with my guys even, and I could definitely debate with all those guys. So I think that's obviously, I'm not into building floating death traps, so that's why there's all that foam in here. Because we could have just put compartment after compartment here, right? What is there, like 11 hatches in here or something like that? We could have put like 15, 20. Why not? Just put 2 there, and make it just nothing but compartment. We could have done that. But the minute this, I mean, 9 times out of 10, we probably would get away with it. It's just that one time where you run into something out there on the lake, or a freak storm comes out here, because we've been having all these freak storms lately for no reason. And then your boat will sink and you'll never get it off the ground. Like, I mean, we had this talk last time. I mean, for those of you who missed it, it was pretty serious. But essentially, you need foam in the boat. You need foam in the boat. And I mean, for those people who are taking those Tracker Grizzlies, or any boat that had a fairly bad pour foam layout, for anybody, I mean, gutting the old bad foam out of that boat in a poorly laid out boat design is a really smart thing to do. But the stupidest thing you could do is not put it back in the boat. So there's so many people out there in these tracker Facebook groups, and these like other things, these forums, and they're just like, oh, just gut all the foam out and put a compartment. I'm like, that's great, dude. Like, the tracker hull's heavy. I mean, once it's all loaded with a motor and outboard, if there's no foam to counteract the weight and you sink that boat for any reason, you're never going to get it off the ground. Like, it's down there forever. It's like a part of the lake, unless you get like an excavator or a crane. So, and that's it. That's only counting. That's counting that you actually survived the whole incident of it sinking for any reason. You run into a tree, you run into a log, your bilge pump doesn't work. One time we were out on a boat out there in South Carolina with a friend of ours, and like, we were just on the shore, and the waves kept coming over the back of the boat and filled up the back of the boat. And then so we went to go put the bilge pump on. He had like one, and back there it wouldn't run. So back there we go to troubleshoot it, and it was all corroded with salt water. It was in the South Carolina Bay, the Charleston Bay. And we're like, what are we gonna do? The water's like filling up half the boat. We ended up having to plane the boat. We had everybody sit up forward to counteract all the weight of water. Well, I stayed back there, and I pulled the boat plug, and I made him plane us as fast as he could until when the boat's on plane, the water actually gets out like a jet. So if you didn't have a bilge pump, your bilge pump failed, the way to get water out is you pull your boat plug and you go fast you can until all the water gets out of the boat. Then you put the boat plug back in, and then you just don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get water back in the boat. You probably should go home. That's what we did. And we did go home. It was like stupid. I don't know. You should have 2 bilge pumps minimum. You should always take care of your wiring. There should always be marine grade wire. And you should always have foam in the boat. I would have been a lot less worried, but he didn't have any foam in that boat. So it was whatever it was. I don't know. What do you guys? Oh, we got 50 likes. Let's do a shirt giveaway. Let's go ahead and do it that way. I can get all the giveaways sent tomorrow. Give away the last. This is for our TBNation large, kind of a full polyester. One of those little workout shirts. It's a OD green TBNation workout shirt or a sports shirt or fishing jersey. It's one of those, plus some decals. All right, some decals. Sweet. And then I have some other stuff maybe we'll give away. Here, we got to get those likes up, guys, though. I know there was like 50 and 60, now 34. The chat decreased because the likes stopped going up. It's all good. I don't ask enough from them. But anyways, here's the question. So these flashlights. Oh, what's the first boat I ran the flashlights on? You guys can guess that one. Out of all the boats that I ever messed with. The Pontini, no. Pontini was... No, not the budget build. Nope. The Smoker Craft actually had no flashlights. Neither did the Yak Killer. Nope, the Yak Killer had LEDs for sure, but not flashlights. So, it's tricky, but it's out there. You guys think about it. It's all good. This one? No, it's not this one. No, I mean, in my own personal boat, this is actually the first, my own personal boat that I've able to run these. Thank heaven. I did enough work for flashlights. They cut me a huge deal on these lights. Thank heaven. Hey, I've been saving all this stuff forever. This is like 5 years worth of stuff. Well, some of it's brand new, but I've been stockpiling stuff. The one, no, you guys can't be like that one build. That can't fly. Whatever. Here, let me show you guys all the electronics here real quick. So what you guys are thinking about that giveaway question. I'm glad I finally got you guys stumped. Finally, it took forever. Hold on a second. Hold on. All right, bow fishing rig. Ooh, close. We're getting closer, but the bow fishing rig definitely had them. But that was the hardest boat ever to build, man. I tell you what, the PB Lodge boat did not have flashlights. That was a fail build, I'll tell you what. The bow fishing boat was maybe the second or third. Second, probably. What boat? You guys got stumped? I can't believe I finally got a question that stumped you guys. It was actually Nick's Tracker V18. It was the first one. And the flashlights were actually in the bunks. So the first time I ever actually showed flashlights. The Palm Prowler didn't have flashlights. There's so many times where I just used cheap LEDs because I had to, because of budget reasons. But I definitely would have used flashlights in the Pontini or the Palm Prowler. The Pontini did have it. Pontini was like the second boat, and then the bow rig was the third, and this one would be the fourth, where we truly ran them. And then Ryan, if you check out his build here, they do watch the videos. That's like, I mean, let's give him a credit, Chris. Like that Nick's boat is like 3 years old. That you guys gonna let Chris talk to you guys like that? It'll be all right. Don't talk back to me as a mod. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Now, I'll ask you a quick question. I'll ask another one. And I got some other stuff. I got some stuff that I didn't use but thought I would. And so we'll be giving those things away too. So maybe Chris will pony up and give away an electric kit. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe you won't. We'll see. Hold on. Check this out. Check this out. All right. This is the first one. So this is just the Helix 7, which the Helix 9 is just a bigger screen. It has 2 more functions in the back. I don't know if you can run the Mega anything, but this definitely is a Mega. It's a Gen 4 Mega SI, so it still is a Mega SI transducer. So maybe you can. Although I think people are generally running it on the 8 and the 9. Definitely the 9 and up. Kind of the 9 is like the bigger one. But there it is. You can even hear it chirping away. You hear it? Chirping away. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn it off. That's going really slow though. We're gonna have to speed that up. Okay, the bigger thing though, that one's running on all the wiring and stuff here, but these are, I have these set so when you flip the actual switch, the Panoptics is turn on, or the live scopes turn on, and these turn on auto. Like once power hits them, they automatically turn on. So there's a function in there for that. I do still think that Garmin, after making a Generation 2 black box, didn't put an on-off switch on the black box. I think that's stupid. But whatever. You have to put your own on-off switch in there. And that's why we have 2 cutoff switches. But so we're going to go ahead and flip that other switch, which is right here. Flip that thing. And so we look here. And so those automatically turned on. And then that one, you got to turn it on manually. You probably could turn that one probably could turn on at factory. I don't actually know. I don't know. Humminbird, you got to really kind of dig in and look at things to figure it all out. So let me see, that one's good. It take forever to power up these things. Like hopefully you're not like hoping to catch a fish like right away when you turn these on. You got to like wait like 5 minutes. I mean, probably not that long. Hold on, exit. Agree. There's that. You can see all the noise. It's trying. The noise there. It's trying. But obviously, it's not going to get it. Well, that one's seeing something. Left and right. Yeah. Check it on the water. There's some things you weren't going to be able to tell until it's on the water. And then obviously, we don't want to let that run too far outside. So again, we have that cutoff switch, and we just turn that thing off. I did notice that if you just cold turn off that those things actually they do not like a cold turn off. So you kind of want to turn off your graphs before you go and cut the switch off. They do not like it. So I don't know. That's what it is. Well, that'll help me catch fish. It'll help me find fish. I don't know about catching them. It'll definitely help me find them. I'll definitely have the best time finding those fish. And catching them has always been a thing, though. So, all right. All right. Let me think of another good question. Let me think. So, the Railblazer guys that make these mounts and send us all these mounts. Like, we met those guys. They're pretty cool guys. Where did we meet them at? So that is the second question for the merch giveaway. Which is, again, a shirt and decals. Like, several decals. What's going on, Al? How are you? Not ETN, not iCast. Oh, Godfrey, got it. Godfrey Hughes. Jeffrey Hughes? Sorry, I'm sorry. That's an odd way to spell Jeffrey. But hey, Jeffrey Hughes, you got it. I think. Yeah, Jeffrey got it. Jeffrey got it. Dominic, Damien, I've never actually been to iCast. And I probably will never go there. Because it's like 6 people who own them, who like pretty much own everything there, and they're all just there patting themselves on the back in a private like tent. And then the rest of the time, like new up and coming companies like say ours are going there, and then they send around secret people to go and rob their product. So iCast, if you're like an up and coming person, it's probably not great to go there. It's just like iCast is kind of becoming kind of fail. So it was something like 3-4 years ago. I don't know about now. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was called Ibex, but I took Tampa because who remembers what the name was. But definitely we met them in Florida. They're pretty cool. We met a lot of cool people in Florida. We met that guy that sells RPD consoles. We met him in Florida. He actually hunted us down at a party. It was like, we need to talk. So we talked to him. So it was kind of cool seeing that side of the line. Completely done differently. Like those guys, so many of them, and even the ones who knew who we are, and people who like own multiple businesses, they're like, how do you promote all these products? How do you sell all these products? And they have a whole team of marketers, and they don't know what they're doing. They haven't really got the social medias away, but like so many people go to these, I mean, honestly, trade shows like that IBEX show or the ETN even, which is not even anything close to the IBEX, but those shows are all really good ways to market, but it's like once a year. You got like one chance, then what are you gonna do the rest of the year? You can't like keep marketing like it's 1993. You gotta change. You gotta change with the times. I'll tell you what, I don't know. There's like nothing but a bunch of old people sitting on their marketing team. You need to hire some new people, like some young kids that figure it out. So super turbocharged mud motor. Okay, I got another. Oh, don't tell Chris to build a turbo mud. Chris already has a short life expectancy with everything he does already. He probably will do it now that you told him to do it. You know, he does things. So let me think. All right, guys, I got these things left over. I have rod holders that I was gonna put in there, but then I made like slots. So obviously, and then I broke the side. Pay no attention to the broken side. It's still new in the box, but they're pretty cool. I mean, these are actually my favorite rod holder. I had these in my first boat I ever converted, like my first skiff. I had these. I've had these actually every boat, all my first boats. I love these. They're like a really good first boat mod. If you're just trying to conservatively mount rods on the side of your hull or your gunnel or on the sidewall, it's pretty nice. Also have a bilge hose kit, also from Walmart. And I was going to use, but then I manned up and put all flow ride hose in, and that's just going to be way better. So this stuff is pretty good, but you got to watch it. If it starts springing leaks, know that it's about to explode, and you should change it immediately. But the through hole fitting will last forever. And then, truth be told, that'll go on any bilge, any with a 3/4 open. So pretty much a 5 to 800 GPH bilge pump. If you get to 1100 GPH, you're going to require 1 1/8 inch hosing, which is why we have such thick hosing running through the whole thing. You know, like hair dryer and electric tape. I don't know. We could talk about it for like future products. We can always talk about some things. But hey, all right. Let me think of a question here. Since we're talking about trade shows, what's Chris and Ryan's favorite trade show? Not mine. I actually don't like trade shows. I think they're lame. But those guys don't. They actually just went to one, and I think it's their favorite one. Dang, Phil got it. Phil H got it immediately. Immediately got it. NOE. I don't even know what that stands for. I don't. But that's trade show they like. They like that one. So, all right, Phil. IBEX was pretty good. I don't know if it's our favorite. It might be. IBEX was pretty cool. It was the best trade show I ever went to, but Chris and Ryan definitely like the NOE. They're like superstars there. Hear me. All right, so Phil H, you got these things coming to you. So the 2 giveaway winners that won, please email me at mike@tbnation.net and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I won this, and this is my address. And that's how we do these giveaways. If you don't email me, I can't send you nothing. So just know that you need to email me so I can keep track of it. And so in the winner from last live, including Damien, you guys got stuff coming to you. Damien, I'm going to give you this thing. I got no use for it. You said you had a Lowrance HDS. I don't know if it'll take the 3D structure scan black box, but you can have this thing. I don't know if it just needs a transducer and cables, but the black box itself is good. Or you can just sell it. I'm getting this thing out of my garage too. So Damien, you can have that since you told me you had an HDS. So we'll send it to you. If you have the HDS like live though, or the carbon. No, it'll work with the carbon. It won't work with the live. I don't think. I think the live's like a step above. It might. You have an HDS live? I don't know. But I'm never going to run Lowrance again. Probably. Not because I have anything against Lowrance, just that I spent so much money in those stupid Garmin graphs. I got like 4 of them spread throughout the boats. I got too much invested in Garmin. I don't really even like Garmin. I don't. Like their trolling motor pissed me off. That force. That's why I have an Ultrex. And then I don't know, but their sonar is really good. You just got to deal with it. You just got to deal with it. But I mean, but as far as like actual picture perfect, you know, images, Hummingbird still wins, at least for like traditional imaging and maps. So that's why I got Hummingbird and Garmin. And Lowrance is like just a nice guy. They're just floating out there, but you know what they say about nice guys, right? So I just don't have them on my boat. Doesn't mean I won't later, like if I come across a deal, but probably they got bigger. Oh, I want to show you some other thing. Check this out. I wanted to show you guys this. Hold on. This thing. I want you to see this. This is all you guys bragging about your nightlight night bars. I want you to see this. And Chris, I want you to see this because you're a nightlight guy and you just need to be put in your place. Okay. This is a Flashlights SRX2 light bar. And this is their small one. Small. I want you to watch what happens when I turn the lights up and turn this thing on. Okay? I want you to watch. We're going to turn the lights off. Not all of them because I don't want to be blinded and neither do you, right? But I want you to see not only how bright this is, but the sheer amount of precision that comes out of this light is unlike anything you've ever seen. Okay. Look at the beam. That's bright. Look at the beam. So if that was a nightlight, it would be blowing out the whole garage right now, right? That is a straight targeted beam that will see out about a mile. And it is one straight beam. Look, it barely even deflects off the front. That's not enough to actually glare up and distort your vision. That's going to cut right through everything. Just, man, it's bright. Okay, I can't look at it anymore. I hope you guys didn't get blinded by that. I'm sorry. That's bright. But that is the legit best light bar on the market. Flashlights makes it. Oh, open the garage door. You guys want to see that? Okay. I hope nobody like looks in this way and crashes into my house. That was a good idea. Open the garage door. I didn't think about that. Where did it go? I was going that way. Where's it going? That's putting off some heat. It feels good. It's cold out here. I actually don't see where it's going. Where's it going? Is it going up? It is going up. It's going that way. Let me see if I can jack the thing down. So that way, yeah, you can see the beam. Look, the beam. There it is. I'm sorry. It's just like, look at the beam of light. There it is. It's like one solid beam. Look at those. Look at. Let me see if I can lower this, and then it'll like actually like hit something. I'm like lowering the jack as far as I can, but I only got like one more inch left. Let me see. Oh yeah, we're hitting the light post. Look at it. It's hitting the light post. Way the hell out there. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, it's hitting the top of that roof. We're about to piss my neighbors off. If it reaches their windows, they're going to be like, turn it off. Yeah, it's hitting the neighbor's house. We probably should crank it back up. But just see how clear that is? Look how nothing around it, aside from the beam, when that beam hits within its target after it beams that far, that's all it's hitting it. Nothing else is glaring. Not the trees, not the ambient air. It's pretty freaking sweet. All right. Yeah. Yep, that thing's nice. I had to have one of those. We installed one of those on that bow rig. It was a 20-incher, man. I was like, once I seen that thing, I was like, I gotta have that light bar. Any cost. So I had to have it. Where is it? Oh, turn that thing on. Oh yeah, and I want to show you this. Remember like the nav light? So I was gonna use the nav light in the kit, but I'm really tired of the nav light port, just the pole light base, them constantly going out. You know, I wasn't gonna run a YOLO Tech on those anymore. So kind of did. And then I forget who sent. I think Nate sent this to me. Nate or Nick? Who's this made by? By Imana Labs Inc. We sell this. I think. Maybe we don't, but it's cool. Check it out. We're supposed to sell them. But straight LED pole on a ram mount with a plug, so we plug it in. It plugs in, so that's why we have this little plug here, specifically for this. So then we can just plug that in. And then the actual nav light is here. Oh, no, that's a Bilge. There it is. So it's just bright enough to be what it needs to be. It's taller than the motor. That's the other reason I didn't use the stock one, because, I mean, the one that came with our kit wasn't taller. This motor is actually really tall. Normally it's not a problem, but the motor cannot be taller than the back nav pole. Like, it cannot be. So this thing is actually tall enough. And then you want to just stow it. Stows right out of the way. Or you could take it off completely off the ram ball. But it just stowing out of the way like this is good enough for me. Like, it's like always at the ready. It's always at the ready, and I'm okay with that. So that was that one. And then, so we got the nav light up here. I don't really know if I'm going to get away with this, because it's just right there. And I just don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, you will be. Oh, look at that. Okay. All right. Never mind. We're going to get away with it. We're going to get away with it. I was thinking that trolling motor was going to screw me. It didn't. Sweet. Guys, we're ready to go and fish, man. We are freaking a day away. I tell you, a day. We're like one stupid day away. Maybe two. I don't know. I still got to paint these. I got to paint them. They'll turn ugly. They'll like immediately oxidize with all the water splashing on them. They got to get painted. So I want to paint these anchors after I fabricate them the rest of the way. And then we'll probably gator skin the top, and then we'll permanently mount these bases to them, and buy more bases so we can permanently mount another set of whatever we do to another boat like that. I'm kind of liking this idea. I do like the concept. I don't like the spud poles, but I do like the motors. So you got to give and take, right? Life ain't all about every W. All right, guys. I got like nothing else to show you. I'm like completely burnt out. And my stupid light. Yeah, let me, I thank you guys for showing up to this live. Check out Chris and Ryan, because they did convert a Sun Dolphin American. If we're talking about affordable boats that you can pretty much get at any Bass Pro shop, or I think maybe in Walmart sometimes sells them. It's a Sun Dolphin American, that two-part hull, plastic little 12-foot John boat looking thing. Yeah, Chris and Ryan actually did a pretty bang-up job. I was going to do it because I was talking to Ryan about it. I was like, we need to convert that thing. And Ryan's like, let me do it. And so I let him do it. It's probably really good that him and Chris did it, because they're actually going to do a more obtainable goal. And they won't lose their mind in the middle of a project and then scrap it and then go do something completely insane that nobody else will do. So because I really want you guys to like not watch these videos and then be like, oh, that's cool, next. Like, I want you to get to see the videos and you're like, that's cool, but also I can do that. That's not hard. So then you keep watching the videos because you're trying to do what we did, because you can. And so that's a big deal. So that's a big deal to me. And so I think Chris and Ryan definitely, if I can get them to do more videos, I definitely would try to get them. Obviously I try, but they got their own business. They run the whole, that Southeast shop is theirs, and they run that thing, and it's very, very busy because of you guys. So thank you guys very much for making both our shops successful, making our online store successful, and making these lives pretty fun to do. I haven't had a whole lot of time to release content. It actually was a struggle to get that video out. But I did binge record on this boat, and so I have tons of content on it. The most content ever recorded on any boat. Had like 4 cameras, including 2 professional cameras that actually got really good, clean, crisp footage. And so, and plus this boat is mine, so it's not like it's going to somebody right away like all the other ones where I spent all this time building it and I only have like 5 minutes to record anything like useful on it. That's always really super frustrating. Like that bow rig I had, I like killed myself to get that thing done because that guy gave me a flake timeline, scheduled clients before the boat was even done, and then like once I had it done, he immediately took it, and I was like, well, I still need to get things from it. So like I kept it. I had like a day, or he would have taken it completely, and that's great because then he sold it. I was thinking I'll get it later. No, so whatever I got from that boat is whatever I got, unless it somehow crosses my path later. So it's like, so that stuff it's kind of stupid. But this boat, I can just like keep using it because it's mine. Finally got an elite rig, where everybody's like, "You're the Tiny Boat Nation guy. Let me see your rig," and I don't have to be like embarrassed because my rig's all clapped. It's all clapped out. Like we're trying to do that thing. You know, Ryan redid his rig. Nate's redoing his at record speed because he's got a crew, that cheater. He didn't grind in this garage for weeks like I did and get elbow tunnel or carpal, whatever the hell, tendonitis. He didn't get that. Nate didn't get that because he's got people who will get tendonitis for him. But it'll be all right. It'll be all right. He probably will drag that thing down here in March. You might be able to see his boat live. We might fish off that thing in March. It'll be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool, guys. This boat definitely will be there. We got some cool things coming up in the spring. I really hope you guys kick the spring off and this weird weather stuff nonsense goes away. And you got one more tournament boat. Whatever, he's gonna have another one next week. He keeps on taking new builds. Then Chris is always like, "Oh, we're only gonna do one more, and then we're just gonna keep doing cool content and viral content." I'm like, all right. And then like the next week he's like, "Oh, we got like 3 more boats." And then like, so I don't really know. I don't know. You guys motivate Chris to stop taking in boats and just do content. We'll see. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be releasing a lot of members-only content pretty soon. I'm going to have to ditch Patreon, I think, because I don't have time for it anymore. I really only have time for YouTube. And so I'm going to maybe just... I mean, it has a members-only thing, kind of like Patreon. And so I'm going to probably just focus on my energy on getting people to become members there. It's like a higher cut they take, but whatever. Like, I don't know. Patreon's not that great. It's meant for other creators, really. It's not meant for like stuff like I do. So it's better just to do it through the masterclasses on YouTube, and for VIPs elsewhere through like Vimeo and stuff. So we'll figure it out. Anyways, guys, I gotta get going. My voice is getting tired. I talk too much. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you.